Hello and welcome to the National Portrait Gallery in London, where, after 7 weeks of etching, sketching and some retching, we've finally arrived at the grand final.
In just a few hours, one of our 3 finalists will claim a £10,000 commission. And because all those finalists work in different media, it's really a matter of pencil versus paint.
Yeah, so brace yourselves. We are about to discover a brand new Sky Arts Portrait Artist of the Year. It's taken 54 artists, 19 sitters, and nearly 300 tubes of paint to get us to the final.
Oh my God! You could continue painting until you die.
And 3 artists are still standing strong.
I can't really believe it. I can't really get... Yeah, I can't. I'm speechless.
Today, they go canvas to canvas one more time. You promised me more colour.
There's tons of colour in there. You just look.
All for the chance of a £10,000 commission to paint the portrait of multi-award-winning broadcaster Graham Norton for the permanent collection of the National Gallery of Ireland.
But to claim it, they've got to win over our discerning judges. Art historian Kate Bryan, independent curator Kathleen Soriano, and award-winning artist Tai-Shan Schierenberg.
Nice watching you paint.
Thank you.
And breathing down your neck as well.
With 3 distinct styles,
I think I've got a good likeness of Donald Trump so far.
Who will take the title? The Sky Arts Portrait Artist of the Year is...
Of the artists who've made it to today's final, 2 are professional. Kimberly Klaus and Gareth Reid.
I'm pretty excited. I'm looking forward to seeing who the sitter is because you usually pull out a pretty good sitter on the last day.
When you get this close, the secretly ambitious part of you does come out and gets a little feisty.
They're joined by amateur artist Liam Dickinson.
I can't believe I'm here painting at the National Portrait Gallery, so not every day you get to do that, and yeah, I'm really excited.
Before the gallery opens to the public, the artists have a chance to prepare and set up. But today they have the daunting task of painting amid some of the world's most celebrated works.
There's a bit of a buzz about the place. You know, there's a nice, interesting backdrop, and I hope I can introduce maybe a cinematic quality to it.
I might start off with a bit of colour. I'm not going to be too overambitious. There's going to be no unleashing of any beast.
Today I brought my usual gear, got my big brushes close because I usually start with those, and this time I managed to keep my brushes sort of organized because it will get chaotic over the time.
It's the artist's last chance to impress the judges, so their final surprise sitter could be the key to clinching the title.
Kimberly, Gareth, Liam, welcome to the final challenge.
Your sitter today is an actor whose career has spanned 5 decades. On stage and on screen, he's been nominated twice for Academy Awards, he's won several BAFTAs. Please welcome the absolutely marvellous Tom Courtenay.
Regarded as one of Britain's best actors, Tom Courtenay's varied career has captivated audiences round the world, with acclaimed performances in films such as Dr. Zhivago, The Dresser, Quartet, and 45 Years. Right, make yourself comfortable, Tom. Now, have you had your portrait painted before?
A couple of times. I only ever sat once for any length of time.
Now, actors, you're used to examining your face and the expressions on it.
I don't practice expressions in front of the mirror. I don't have that many, actually, come to think.
But you've played
One
many
or two.
parts, and they've
Yes,
all
I
been
suppose.
found
They all
expression
look
in
the
your
same.
face.
Yeah, yeah.
No, they don't all look the same, Tom. They look very different.
Thank you very much.
Now, the artist will have all sorts of unnecessary demands of what they want from you, many of which you can...
Do I have to take my clothes off?
No. Well,
good.
I don't know. Well, let's talk to them about that. Ideally, what would you like from Tom today?
I think you need to be sitting comfortably since it is going to be 4 hours.
Comfort is very important, I think.
Yeah.
But it seems to be you sit with your that arm up. It seems to be
You don't
that's
like
what
that?
Oh,
No, I like
think
it.
it's
I like
great.
I like it.
No, I can do that.
Just find a single point of focus. Ideally, maybe somewhere
Where
central.
can I
If you
see anybody. Actors, you know, when they're filming, they will say, "Will you get out of my eye line, please?" But it seems a bit unnecessary, as I don't have to say anything.
Right, now that we've got Tom posed, artists, your challenge is about to begin.
You have 4 hours to complete your final portrait. Good luck, and your time starts now.
I'm going to take some photographs if you don't mind.
When faced with a sitter, Kimberly and Gareth worked from life.
Okay, Tom, could you maybe look here?
Yeah. I can be there.
Kimberly,
Yes.
is that okay? Is that okay?
That's great. Yeah?
But Liam relies on technology to compose his portraits.
I've taken a few pictures of Tom and I'm just going to put them in my computer, play around with them, put a grid over the top. It helps me envisage what the finished portrait's going to look like before I begin.
Amateur artist Liam Dickinson is from Chorley, Lancashire, and works part-time at a supermarket. His ability to capture lightness was evident with his painting of Dave Myers, but he didn't win his heat. Worried they had let a talent slip through their hands, the judges invited Liam to the semi-final in an unprecedented move. It turned out that his portrait of Imelda Staunton was more than enough to convince them that he deserved to be in the final. At 28, he's the youngest of today's artists.
Are you conscious of age and experience in a competition like this, or is it?
No,
Is it
I don't feel particularly young, to be fair. I mean,
or inexperienced,
28.
less experience, maybe?
Less experience of, you know, being a professional artist, I suppose, but I've been painting for as long as I can remember.
But you do bring a youthfulness. I mean, your technique, I think, is very different. Your approach is really different.
I can see the extraordinary painting behind him, just out of focus there, which in your submission we had that lovely
I'm going to try
contrast.
and get a bit of that. A lot of artists are almost ashamed to admit that they use photographs, and I just think, well, why can't we? It gives it a different context than it would in a normal photograph.
Nice start.
Thank you.
I'm going to do monochrome. I think that way I can focus on likeness and really focus on the face. I'm looking at a base color and I'm looking at what happens when you mix white to it. I'm just trying to figure out what's the right mix of colors to get a good range.
Originally from Connecticut, Kimberly Klaus is a self-taught professional artist. Her bold and suggestive brushstrokes for her heat painting of Freddie Highmore captivated the judges. And her ambitious composition of Imelda Staunton in the semi-final cemented her place in today's final. Right, Kimberly, let me come and have a look. How are you doing?
Yes.
How do you feel?
I feel good. Yeah, it's always fun in the beginning when everything's still possible.
Big brushes. Let's have a look at this. These are incredible brushes. They're like decorating brushes.
They are like decorating. I think they might be actually decorating brushes. So.
But I've seen you go for it.
It's nice because it keeps it loose. So if I start to realize I'm getting a little too precious or too tight, then I'll go back in and say, okay, no. Psht.
Well, that's terrific. I look forward to more splashing, Kimberly.
Thank you so much. Thanks, John.
Painting in the world-famous National Portrait Gallery and in front of its thousands of visitors may be a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, but it seems our finalists are focusing on the job in hand.
Tom's a great subject. Absolutely the kind of thing I was looking for. I'm just trying to look at the composition. I'm trying to place whether to go just head and shoulders or whether to include the hands and make the figure smaller on the canvas. There's quite a lot of movement, so I don't know what the pose is even at the minute. But time's ticking and I should have decided this by now.
Originally from Belfast, professional artist Gareth Reid now lives in Glasgow. He made it to the final with his favoured mediums of pencil and charcoal. In the heats, he bowled over the judges with his statuesque drawing of Adrian Chiles. He continued to impress with his semi-final portrait of Imelda Staunton with its strong sense of narrative. He always uses the sitter for reference, but today's is proving quite the challenge.
Frank, would you get him to peep round the corner at me? Got it, that's good.
He's a bit restless.
He's mobile.
He's very mobile.
Yes.
So it's hard to see where he's going to end up. So I'm trying to waiting for that.
I think it's fair to say the others are a bit ahead.
Yeah, I know.
But I've often thought that the composition is so crucial that often because of the 4-hour thing, people rush into it and then you're trapped in a composition.
Well, that's why I really want to make sure of it so that I don't regret it and are into it. I'm not.
And what about colour today?
More colour.
More colour.
Maybe a bit of watercolour underneath to give a bit of a glow.
Well, good luck.
Yeah.
Remember, there's champions of drawing all over Britain thinking you are our representative.
Yeah.
Our finalists have been capturing Tom Courtenay for nearly 1 hour. He makes a very good sitter, doesn't he?
Yeah, it's great. But he's having trouble enough keeping his head still.
The only person who sits absolutely still these days is the Queen. She'd be a good sitter.
I was hoping for her today, but he let me down, so.
Okay, positions. Thank you.
I think I've got a good likeness of Donald Trump so far. I'm gonna work on the hair.
Here at London's National Portrait Gallery, our 3 finalists have just over 3 hours to finish portraits of their very restless sitter, multi-award-winning actor Tom Courtenay.
Kimberly?
Yes, sir.
Gotcha.
Kimberly and Liam are sticking to their tried and tested medium of oil. But as it's the final, Gareth has decided not to restrict himself to his usual area of expertise.
I've come here because you're the pencil and charcoal man, and here we've got paint. Are you familiar with paint?
Yeah, I mean, it's not a main part of my work, but last year I tried a little bit of watercolour on the canvas and it worked really well as the first stage of the painting. Quite loose, not confined to the edges.
No, and this is loose too, isn't it?
Yeah, a little bit loose, just a little bit of, give it a bit of a glow and then you work over it.
You're used to doing this.
Not really. It's all quite new, actually.
You mean you were experimenting in the course of a competition?
No, only a little bit.
Dave Myers, centre canvas, head and shoulders, looking slightly to the left.
Yeah.
Imelda Staunton, centre canvas, head and shoulders, looking slightly to her left. On your picture, Tom Courtenay, centre canvas, head and shoulders, looking slightly... What I don't want people to start thinking about you, Liam, is you're a one-trick pony.
To be fair, I think that's just the look of the draw. I've been given that kind of...
But you're working from a photograph, so the world is your oyster.
True, but I like to refer to both.
You'll find in the final the questioning gets a lot more... it's like a political programme.
Yeah.
I find it curious that there's so little there, but I can really see Tom Courtenay already. It's almost the essence of the way he holds his head as well. So, but how do you do that? I mean,
yeah, are you doing magic?
Yeah, because that's very kind of you. I think I tried, without sounding too highbrow, but really to have like a sensory experience of the person, so that I'm really like, what does it feel like if I'm Tom's cheek, and what does the slope really look like, and why does it catch the light? Method painting.
Method painting.
Tie. So we've got great actor sits on chair.
He doesn't sit well in the chair.
No, he's a movable feast. I think
When they saw him this morning, they thought, yes, there's
Well, yeah.
fantastic. He's got lines. He's very strangely like a very old boy, a little boy. That sort of boyish haircut, isn't it?
He has a youth about him. But I mean, a schoolboy sort of impishness.
He's sort of settled down now. He's
you
got
think
this
so?
fantastic face. But what is interesting, when he does settle into the zone, it becomes very hangdog.
But I'd love, if anyone can capture both of those in a portrait today, they've done a brilliant job. It's not just today's portraits of Tom that our 3 finalists will be judged on. To give the judges a chance to see how each artist performs with more time, 2 weeks ago, Liam, Gareth and Kimberly each made their way to different locations to be given a surprise commission.
So, the moment of truth. Oh, wow. Your commission is to paint the portrait of the critically acclaimed musician, Dame Evelyn Glennie. This is fantastic. This is going to be a lot of fun.
Your commission is to paint the portrait of the distinguished and much respected High Court Judge, the Honourable Mrs. Justice Chima Grubb. That's amazing.
Your commission is to paint the portrait of the popular classical singer and forces sweetheart, Catherine Jenkins. Wow. That's not scary at all, is it?
Each artist met up with their commissioners to find out what exactly they were expecting from the portraits. Liam went to the Cavalry and Guards Club in Piccadilly to meet the director of the British Forces Foundation, Mark Cann.
We, as a charity, exist to boost the morale of the men and women serving on the front line. Catherine's been to Afghanistan, Iraq, more than once as well.
Are there any particular themes or elements that you want me to incorporate into the portrait?
I'd like to see a little bit of the connection with the armed forces and the serving armed forces, you know, the young men and women who are on the front line.
Great.
At the Old Bailey, Gareth met its most senior judge, the Recorder of London, Nicholas Hilliard QC, along with the Sheriff of the City of London, Charles Bowman.
What we're anxious to have is a picture very much of a 2016 judge.
Yeah, it's the modern face of UK judiciary, but respecting the sort of heritage and history of this wonderful institution.
Okay.
Kimberly went to the Academy of Music in London to meet up with Neil Percy, principal percussionist with the London Symphony Orchestra.
Evelyn is such a role model for not only percussion players, but for musicians across the world. We have some new percussion facilities that are going to be opening, which we're really excited about. So we thought, what better place to hang your wonderful portrait, but in the new facilities, with Evelyn being one of our most celebrated alumni.
Is there a particular style that you have in mind?
We're really open to all sorts of suggestions as to whether it should be an action shot or a portrait. I'm going to be absolutely fascinated to see what you come up with and very excited.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Armed with her brief, Kimberly went to visit Evelyn at her studio for a 1-hour sitting to help formulate her ideas.
Hi, Kimberly.
Hi, Evelyn. It's fantastic to meet you.
Thank you very much. I'm very excited by all of this.
I'm very excited myself. What is it about sort of the chemistry between you and percussion that made that the arena as opposed to another instrument?
I don't actually know. I think it's just, you know, being given that opportunity to try something at a young age, and that's what happened at school.
Yeah.
And I think it starts from the enjoyment, you know.
Yes.
Gareth got the opportunity to sit with the Honourable Mrs. Justice Chima Grubb, the UK's first female Asian High Court judge.
I am excited to see what this artist comes up with. Anything except a cubist interpretation will be more than satisfactory.
When you're getting dressed in the robes, do you feel like it's an essential part of the process of changing into a judge?
Yes. You do feel a weight of responsibility just by the weight on your shoulders.
Liam was able to spend an hour with Catherine to take photos and do his preliminary sketch.
Do you have a standout moment from your
Korea?
So many. The one that's like the surprising one for me was, it was the first time I sang to the troops in Iraq, and I sang Over the Rainbow. It was just a really emotional show. When I got to the chorus, they all started singing along with me. It was just really unexpected, but it had a big impact on me.
So, Evelyn, I think we've got our sketch.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Oh, my Lord, you're amazing. That's incredible. Thank you.
Oh, thank you so
very
much.
Indeed.
Well, that's remarkably impressive for the time you've had and the unpromising material. Thank you. Well done.
Wow, that is not what I expected. It is gorgeous. Amazing, thank you.
Each artist was then given 2 weeks to complete their commission.
I did push myself to do some new things. I worked bigger than I usually worked. I worked with colors I usually don't work with. Anytime you challenge yourself in that way, I think there are some hits and misses, so I hope there are more hits than misses and that everyone is pleased with the result.
I think I fulfilled what the commissioner was after, and I also fulfilled what I wanted to put in a painting as well. Fingers crossed it goes down well. We'll see.
I wanted it for it to be a drawing. I didn't want to do a painting and move to another medium. I think there's something else there, a little, something more developed.
The judges won't see the final commissioned work until just before the judging.
Meanwhile, at the National Portrait Gallery, the finalists have just over 2 hours to finish today's depictions of Tom Courtenay, before one of them will become Portrait Artist of the Year.
Hopefully, get this face done in the next hour and then focus on having a good background as well.
Has it got my sense of fun?
He has, he's got all that. You look like a man who's thinking about the past in a painful way.
Right now I'm trying to make sure that all the general proportions work. I'm trying to hold back from doing something too risky, so I'm having to be very thoughtful about the marks that I make, and that always stresses me out a little bit.
Here at London's National Portrait Gallery, we are halfway through the final challenge to paint sitter Tom Courtenay, and one artist is feeling the pressure.
Name's really far on. It's looking really well. It's really solid. Pretty much done.
You feeling worried?
Not at all.
Right, judges, halfway time to the final decision. How does it feel?
I was hoping by this time that it would be it'd make it easier by having a clear front runner. And they're all doing pretty well.
There's 3 winners there. I mean, they're all exceptionally talented and they're all so different. So this is going to be really, really horrible.
OK, let's take them one at a time. What about Liam?
I was a bit disappointed to see that the format and the size of the head is pretty similar to the ones we've seen from him before.
But I'm excited because I think he's planning on bringing in some of the painting in the background, and he's going to do it in the out of focus way he did in his submission.
Now, what about Gareth? What do you think about the use of colour that he's brought into it?
I feel like he's trying to be a bit more experimental. He's trying to give us something more.
I don't think it looks that attractive at the moment because it's unresolved, but I think as the afternoon progresses, we'll see that come together more.
OK. Kimberly.
I think the way she works, it's been nerve-wracking. She had some fantastic likenesses earlier today, and they've come and gone. And I'm worrying that she's still moving elements around too much, and she should actually start to settle.
I love that struggle. I love an artist that has to push and pull across the canvas.
Right, now we've looked at the paintings that you've already seen. What you have not seen is the commissions, but you have expectations. Now, what are your expectations, Ty?
3 masterpieces. We see a part of them under this 4-hour time pressure, so we only see a fragment of the artistic personality. What the commission will let us see is more of them
every time we get surprised by the incredible quality of these commissions. So excited.
I can't wait.
So we're going to unveil the commissions, and I shall be watching you watching them. Yeah. It's going to be very exciting.
Fantastic.
So, Tom.
No, sorry, Frank, you're breaking my concentration.
No, it's all right.
This is the longest I've ever sat still in my life.
Well, you say still. It's a loose interpretation of the word.
Still-ish. Still-ish.
So would you say you were a vain man in any way? Because I wonder if there are things about your face, for example, that you don't like and things that you do.
No, I'm indifferent to it.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
I've had to arrive at that position as well.
I mean, it was better when it was younger, but then that's the same for all faces.
If you ask painters who they'd like to paint, they never want anyone young and beautiful.
Really?
They were all delighted that you turned up with your interesting face, Tom.
Well, I was delighted to be asked.
Well,
And I put into practice sitting still.
Yes, well, keep at it is all I can say. Every artist has their own method of producing a portrait, and every method has its own series of stages.
Up until this point is always my favorite part, and then when you really have to say, okay, I'm going to put the eye right there, and it's not just blocks of areas, but more details, that's when I start getting a little fidgety and a little worried.
Liam, you got Tom's head, and now you're going to create something around it.
I want to capture that painting behind him, but suggestively with that kind of blurred, out of focus depth of field.
Yeah, you wouldn't want to paint every one of those.
No.
You've found the image you're going to work from on your iPad.
I'm kind of merging two, almost like a landscape and a portrait, and bring them together. That's the idea. Well,
sounds like a good plan. No, go.
Cheers.
And I'll just watch you, because it's
Great stuff.
nice watching you paint.
Thank you.
And breathing down your neck as well.
One of London's most celebrated art institutions, the National Portrait Gallery was the first of its type in the world when it opened in 1856. And its current director is Nicholas Cullinan. Nicholas, thanks for having us in your workplace.
It's a pleasure.
When I imagine your job, I imagine what you're doing is looking after what's here.
Mm-hmm.
What is the ongoing element of it? Where are the new portraits coming from?
Well, actually, we're quite unique in that we still commission portraits of sitters, and so most galleries acquire, but they don't commission. And we both acquire historic portraits or even contemporary portraits, but crucially, we also commission.
So something like we're doing here today, you see the finished works. You don't see the process.
Yeah, this is a particularly vivid example of giving people an insight into that. 3 different artists making portraits of the same sitter at the same time. I couldn't possibly say which is my favourite, but I think they're all shaping up rather well.
Very different approaches.
Yeah, it's very exciting.
There are only 20 minutes of the challenge left before one of our finalists will become Portrait Artist of the Year 2017.
Do you feel like you had to wrestle to find the likeness? It always seems to me that everyone just finds it, but was it hard for you?
No, it's just like struggling for 2 hours.
In my head, it's all going to schedule, but that could change.
Sometimes fiddling around with bits to get it just right, but I don't know if it's going to make it a better painting.
Do you actually enjoy this stressful method, which is just kind of as if you've got a torch in a darkened house?
I do a little bit. I do enjoy it.
Yeah, okay. It's killing me.
It's killing me a little bit right now, too, to be honest. I won't even lie.
At London's National Portrait Gallery, the final challenge for Portrait Artist of the Year is coming to an end. But there's something I need to clarify. Gareth.
Yes.
I love it. You promised me more colour than this. When we spoke earlier, you told me, oh, today it's going to be like
riot.
Notting Hill Carnival.
There's tons of colour in there. You just look.
This is the colour.
You just got the wrong end of the stick.
Oh, did I?
You just...
The amount of times I've been told that in relationships.
Artists, you have just 5 minutes left. 5 minutes to go.
Come on, 5 minutes.
Are you finished now?
I am.
Thank God.
I figured that I can only do more damage.
I've got stomach pains.
Do you?
Yeah, just from watching your courageous style.
It's close, but it just needs tweaking all over the place.
I personally feel like a good background gives portrait more context. I quite like that's there now, so I'm not gonna play around with it too much.
Artists, your time is up. Your final challenge is over.
Please put down your materials and step away from your portraits.
Having sat for 4 hours, Tom's patience is rewarded and he gets to choose his favourite portrait to take home.
Tom, the loneliness of the long-distance sitter.
Yes, absolutely.
We now have what I think is my favourite part of the whole show, and that's when I turn to the artists and say, artists, will you now turn your easels?
Gosh. Yep. They all look like me, I think.
Yeah, don't overdo it with the response to that.
You know, I don't like looking at myself that much.
No? What kind of an actor are you?
No, not, I don't know. That's another question. The longer you look at it, the more impressive it becomes.
Yes, totally.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Yeah, I find this bit very hard, I have to say.
I felt that I could see you thinking in that.
Oh, well,
in
that's a complete fluke.
There was one moment when I thought I caught you thinking.
Oh, yes. Very brief. Yeah, lovely. Fantastic.
Thank you.
What was interesting to me, you took some pictures of me and looked at them mostly, but did you occasionally look at me?
Yeah, I did. When I looked at you, you were taking a picture of me.
Oh, right, sorry. I just hate having to pick one.
So I'm going to have to ask you. You've given no clues, really.
No,
which one would you like?
No, Liam's.
But Tom's choice has no bearing on who will be today's winner. That's down to the judges. They must now consider today's portraits as well as the 3 individual commissioned pieces, which they're about to see for the first time.
Incredible.
Wow.
Fantastic.
That's amazing. They're so different.
Yeah.
From what they've done today, in
Yeah.
a way.
It's really hard because you're so used to seeing them in a certain way, and these are even way beyond their submissions. Everybody, I think, is pushing a lot.
Yeah.
One of the things I really love is the monochrome palette, the choice of a single colour or slightly related colours. And normally it gives her a freedom and a freshness, but in the commission it feels to me like it became more of a pair of handcuffs.
It's interesting, the monochrome works there because it's transparent, and the monochrome doesn't work in her commission, or even in Glennie, because it's not transparent in the body. That's what it is, isn't
That's
it?
exactly what it is.
She has introduced different tonal variations more than she has in the other things that we've seen. I think it works well, actually. I was quite surprised that she's able to pull that off.
And I've got these gripes, technical gripes, but, you know, even Glennie is standing there. She is there in space, and she's been introspective. It's quite an interesting idea of her looking at her fingers and playing with her hair. There is a presence of the person there, so it's, you know, it is a good portrait. What's interesting about today's painting of Tom is the delicacy of not only his face and his hair, that shirt collar. I've always had a question mark against her skill with likeness, and she nailed it today, and she's nailed it in the commission. So, you know, she can do that. That's been answered.
You know, I'm excited to see what she would do next.
£10,000 would just be life-changing and out of this world, incredibly helpful, and a real honour.
I love the background, actually. I really like the context.
I love the piano. It's beautifully painted.
What I have a problem with, ironically, is the portrait. I think the portrait itself borders on the caricature.
A lot of that is to do with the expression of the sitter.
It is notoriously difficult to paint people smiling or laughing or with any kind of expression, and I think this kind of shows you why, because you do end up tipping into something which doesn't seem serious. I really love what he did today, and I like it a lot more than the commission, I have to be honest.
I agree. I think the portrait today is really fabulous, and it's still got elements of that filmic quality that we love so much from his original submission. So, you know, tick, tick, tick there.
That last hour seemed to just kind of go like that. This time I probably attempted to maybe do a bit more than I've done in previous rounds. I just hope that the judges will see some potential. It depends what they're looking for, but I can hope for the best.
I think what is remarkable, which we haven't seen before, is the treatment of different textures. From her skin to the ruff to the wig. Everything has its own weight and feel. I've never seen anything like this before.
No. And also, actually, the second thing that's happening here is that this medium, which is not painting, is showing that it is absolutely categorically serious and should be treated on the same level as painting. There's too quick to denigrate working with pencil as saying it's not serious. Are you kidding me? This is an absolutely exquisite finished piece of art. I honestly can't find a fault with it.
And how marvellous to see a woman taking on the swagger, you know, confident pose that we normally see a man dressed in robes of office. I think it's fantastic to apply those masculine principles to a female model.
I find it's overstated.
No.
It needs to be overstated,
You wouldn't be saying
maybe.
that if it was a man. We're going to totally gang up on you now.
No. I think the power, you know, she's got the power. She doesn't need to overstate it like that. What I like in Tom today is the emotional depth. I'm in two minds about the use of colour. I think he was trying to impress us by because he knows we like it.
Yeah.
But it doesn't. With that one, it works phenomenally. With this one, I don't really think it makes a difference, does it?
I don't think that the pink wash really works.
It's not finished, though, is it? That's the thing. He clearly hasn't got to a point where he was happy. What he obviously has is a nobility that he manages to extract from his characters.
Yeah.
And, you know, Tom, I know it's maybe slightly inward-looking, but there is still a strength and a nobility there.
I didn't get anything done in the first hour, really. So my work had to be accelerated, 4 hours compressed into 3 hours. If I won, I don't know what I would do. It's been such a long day, I would start weeping or something, I don't know.
With today's winner receiving a £10,000 commission to paint Graham Norton for the National Gallery of Ireland, I want to know how the judges plan to come to their decision. These commissions are game changers, aren't they? I mean, in my own personal opinion, these commissions have really changed my view on quite a lot that's gone on thus far.
You're right, Frank. You know, all the way through the competition, we're looking for potential. And what the commissions do is they show us what that potential is delivered.
Personally, I want to pick someone who is really on a journey and is doing something which excites me.
So you have much more in your mind than the two portraits, the that you see here, you have all the things that have gone before.
Yeah,
And
and what we're hoping will come next as well. Because I'm thinking, well, what happens if you give each of these people the prize? You know, what are we likely to see? But I also want it to be something which is innovative and pioneering.
It's the quality of the artist, it's the freshness, the newness, and it's all the work that came before.
They're going on to win a commission which will hang in a public gallery. That's quite a responsibility.
They've made it very difficult for us. Yeah.
Liam, Gareth, Kimberly, congratulations on being our 3 terrific finalists. We've so enjoyed watching you over the weeks and indeed getting to know you and how you work. It's been terrific.
Yes, but the judges have made a decision. I can tell you now, and this is, I know people always say this on shows, I can never remember the judges having a more difficult decision than this. They have been sweating droplets of blood in order to arrive at this, but they have chosen a winner. The Sky Arts Portrait Artist of the Year is Gareth Reid.
I can't quite believe it. Absolutely delighted. I'm dazed. I'm over the moon. When to get the cash?
So the wonderful thing about Gareth is I think he has one foot in art history, but he's got the other foot very, very firmly stepping forward into the contemporary, and he does that through his use of colour, in the way he describes texture and form.
He's been consistent in his cleaving to drawing. And actually, when I thought it came to the commission, I know he paints as well, I thought he's going to go and do some painting. And no, he stuck to drawing.
He transcended what I thought you could do as a draftsperson. The kind of marks that he made were sublime. He could tell all kinds of stories using those pencils.
I'm really happy for Gareth. It has been amazing. I'm quite emotional. I can't feel a negative feeling right now about the results at all because it's just been really good for me in general.
We've got plenty of time. We've got plenty of time.
Do you know what? I think Gareth more than deserved to win, so no complaints. I'm happy just to get back to normal, back to the supermarket. I'm not happy about that, really.
Obviously the money's awesome, but the fact that it's in the collection of the National Gallery of Ireland is even better. The potential that might come from it is the main thing, I think. I couldn't be happier.
Next time, our winner Gareth paints the fabulous Graham Norton.
This is how the Queen must feel, endlessly seeing portraits of herself.
As he embarks on his £10,000 prize commission for the National Gallery of Ireland.